All right, so welcome to UNC Charlotte Sex Week. Going all the way from herpes Monday to syphilis Saturday. I think today is Gonorrhea Wednesday that they're celebrating out here at UNC Charlotte Sex Week. So in honor of Gonorrhea Wednesday, we're going to give you some health information about sex. I see a lot of people wearing face masks. Seems like you're maybe concerned about health. And since it's UNC Charlotte Sex Week, we're going to kind of combine the two and talk about one sexual practice that is particularly unhealthy. Who cares about their health out there? Anybody care about their health? I think your mask says otherwise. But there being UNC Charlotte Sex Week, we're hosting a free seminar. This is a free seminar because I have heard rumor that there are sodomites here at UNC Charlotte.
Yeah, man, just got back from sex class.
I have heard rumor that there are sodomites here at UNC Charlotte. And since it's Sex Week, and so many of you are wearing masks and seem to care about your health, we're going to talk to you a little bit, give you a free seminar on the dangers and the unhealthiness of rectal sex. So listen up, just skip your next class. This is a free seminar. Now, surveys indicate that about 90% of gays have engaged in rectal intercourse, and about 2/3 do it regularly. In a 6-month-long study of sexual diaries, gays averaged 110 sex partners and 68 rectal encounters a year. And this was a few years back. You guys are getting more and more perverted, so I'm sure those numbers are much higher. 110 sex partners just in a 6-month-long study. That's disgusting. As if that isn't unhealthy enough, rectal sex is dangerous. During rectal intercourse, the rectum becomes a mixing bowl for saliva and its germs as an artificial lubricant. The recipient's own feces, whatever germs, infections, or substances the penis has on it, and the seminal fluid of the inserter. Now, sperm, which is immunocompromising, readily penetrates the rectal lining, which is only 1 cell thick. And tearing or bruising of the anal wall is very common during anal or penile sex. See, we're doing a little free seminar for you on the dangers of rectal sex during UNC Charlotte's Sex Week. It's Gonorrhea Wednesday, so we're talking a little bit to the sodomites about the dangers of rectal sex.
Good to know.
All right, yeah, hang out for a while. Whoops. Yeah, I've heard there's sodomites here on this campus, so they need to hear this. Alrighty, where are we? Because of this, these substances gain almost direct access to the bloodstream. And unlike heterosexual intercourse, in which sperm cannot penetrate the multi-layered vagina and no feces is present, rectal intercourse is probably the most sexually efficient way to spread hepatitis B, HIV, syphilis, and a host of other blood-borne diseases. Tearing or ripping of the anal wall is especially likely during fisting. Do we have any sodomites out there who've been engaged in fisting? Let's talk to you about that. Tearing or ripping of the anal wall is especially likely during fisting, where the hand and possibly arm is inserted into the rectum. Folks, if your Saturday night includes an arm shoved up your rectum, something is wrong with your sex life, okay? If there is a fist in your rectum, that should be a warning sign that your life has gotten a little bit out of control. Alrighty, let's see, where am I? It is also common when toys are employed, homosexual lingo for objects that are inserted into the rectum, bottles, carrots, even gerbils. Anybody familiar with sodomites doing gerbiling? You know what gerbiling is in the sodomite community? They shove a PVC pipe in their rectum and then shove a let a gerbil go into that PVC
My
pipe?
mom did that once.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Is that why you turned out that way? So homos, sodomites, shove PVC pipes and gerbils into their rectum. Once again, folks. Once again, this is just a basic course on sexuality here during UNC Sex Week. We're talking about the dangers of rectal sex and the sodomite lifestyle. Folks, if your sexual experiences include bottles, PVC pipes, and gerbils, if small rodents are intentionally inserted into your rectum, something is wrong with your life. I would strongly suggest repenting if a gerbil is in your rectum on a Saturday night. The risk of contamination and or having to wear a colostomy bag from such sport is very real. The rectum was not designed to accommodate the fist. Again, this is 101. This is 101 training. The rectum was not designed to accommodate a fist. Okay, let's see, where am I? Okay, and those who do so can find themselves consigned to leakage for life. Anal cancer is 24 times more prevalent in gays, and hepatitis C 10 times more prevalent in gays. Now, fecal sex. About 80% of gays admit to licking and or inserting their tongues into the anus of partners and ingesting medically significant amounts of feces. Now, this talks about ingesting medically significant amounts of feces. Again, if your sex act is ingesting any amount of feces, you need to rethink your life. Those who eat or wallow in it probably are at even greater risk. In the diary study, 70% of the gays had engaged in this activity, half of them regularly over 6 months. What was the result? Hold on, just a second. Let me finish my 101 course. This is a free seminar. This is a free seminar. You guys are getting, how much you pay to go here a year? This is a free seminar here. All right, what's the result? The annual incidence of hepatitis A in homosexual men was 22%, whereas no heterosexual men were acquiring hepatitis A. In 1992, it was noted that the proportion of London gays engaging in oral anal sex had not declined since 1984. A little bit more. It's just starting to get good. Just wait. You came at the right time. This is starting to get good. Now we're up to class 201. We're up to course 201. Because now we're talking about sadomasochism. Did you know it's UNC Charlotte Sex Week? Okay. Today's Gonorrhea Wednesday. So, sadomasochism. A large minority of gays engage in torture for sexual fun. 15% of lesbians engaged in piercing, cutting, or whipping to the point of bleeding with their lovers. Okay? Sex with minors. 25% of white gays admitted to sex with boys 16 or younger as adults. In a 10-state study, 33% of the 181 male and 22% of the 18 female teachers caught molesting students did so homosexually, even though less than 3% of men and 2% of women are bisexual or homosexual. Depending on the study, the percent of gays reporting sex in public restrooms ranged from 14 to 41 up to 66%. The percentage reportedly having sex in gay baths varies from up to 60 to 67%. Let's see here. Furthermore, 45 to 90% said they were doing illegal drugs. Now, here's the medical consequences of homosexual sex. I'm almost done. This is worth it. Now, death and disease accompany promiscuous, unsanitary sexual practices. Between 70 to 78% of gays report having had a sexually transmitted disease. The proportion with intestinal parasites, worms, flukes, and amoeba has ranged up to 39%. And this is back in 2012, so it's gotten much worse. 55% of U.S. AIDS cases had occurred in gays, and 30,000 U.S. gays were contracting HIV every year. Now, the Seattle Sexual Diary study found that, averaged on a yearly basis, gays filleted 108 men and swallowed semen from 48. They exchanged saliva with 96. They experienced penile penetrations of the anus and ingested fecal material from 19. Okay, that is your course. Now, I will open it up, students. Thank you for your patience, students. Young lady, what is your question?
So you mentioned the pedophiles and gay men, but my pastor, he's straight. He raped a little girl. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he'll end up going to the same hell as any other pedophile.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're talking about that's
I think a lot.
I've been preached out front of a lot of Christian concerts. It's called Winter Jam.
Yeah.
We preach out front of Christian concerts and all too. You can find some of the most foul-mouthed, nasty punks outside of a Christian concert. So yeah, if a supposed Christian pastor has raped or sexually assaulted anyone, young, old, whomever, they're in a lot of trouble with God. Yeah, yeah. You're saying most people who say they're a Christian aren't. Just like I like to talk to atheists are my favorite group of sinners to talk to. They're usually the most reasonable to talk to. I like talking to them. But I found out that most atheists aren't real true atheists. They don't believe it all the way from start to finish. They kind of pick and choose from different worldviews and lump it all together. It's just convenient to say there is no God. But I also am much harsher on people who claim to be Christians, but they're still living, they're still foul-mouthed, get drunk, have sex outside of marriage, just living like the rest of the world. Very, very wicked. Actually, the Bible actually says that their condemnation will be more severe. So if that guy calls himself a pastor, the Bible says, "Let not many of you be teachers, knowing this, you shall have the greater condemnation." And the Bible also says that that judgment must begin at the house of God. So actually a pastor, quote unquote pastor, who molests someone is actually much greater danger than a atheist who rapes someone. Much greater danger.
Yeah. So also, what is your opinion on someone who's a very, very devout Christian, they just so happen to be maybe gay or trans or whatever? What's your opinion on that? They devote their life to God. They do everything in their power to devote their life to God. They just so happen to be gay.
Yeah. Well, there's no such thing as a devout Christian who's gay or trans. The two can't be together. That's like saying, what do you think about honest liars? Or what do you think about honest thieves or something?
Yeah.
The two can't be the same.
Yeah.
The Bible's very clear, Old Testament and New, that the Bible calls homosexuality an abomination and a vile affection. In the book of Romans, the Apostle Paul called homosexuality a vile affection. It's a very serious, grievous sin against God. So you got to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to be a homosexual, you have free will to do that. But you can claim to be a Christian, but it's like that pastor.
Yeah.
If a pastor assaulted a girl or molested a girl, he's not a pastor of God. He's not a Christian. He's a vile sexual pervert liar.
Have you done anything?
Hold on a second. Did you have?
I have another question.
Sure.
So, what's your thoughts on the potential that translation about homosexuality is actually about pedophilia?
Yeah.
The Hebrew word for men and
I've been doing this I've been doing this about 15 years now. You guys all read from the same blogs and the same websites because usually every couple of years there's a new thing to come up. And about the last year and a half, you guys have all been reading the same blogs and websites about the pedophilia thing. Now, when the Apostle Paul talks about in Romans chapter 1, he uses two words, and it is malakoi and arsenokoitai. These are from the Koine Greek, and malakoi means soft or effeminate. That's the basically kind of the recipient. Let's say you have two sodomites. The soft, effeminate one is more the recipient, kind of the girl in that guy-guy relationship. And then arsenokoitai is the other word Paul uses for the homosexual in Romans chapter 1. Arsenokoitai in Koine Greek is literally translated as man with man in bed of fornication. It doesn't have anything to do with children. Now, having sex with children certainly is a vile affection.
Okay.
But Paul the Greek words, you can still study Koine Greek and see the words malakoi and arsenokoitai Arsenokoitai means man and man, man with man in a bed of fornication. So very clear, very clear.
What's your question?